Hey witches, this is Vix.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Callie.
You're listening to Random Witchcraft.
Are they? I don't know. Sometimes we're just too dang random.
Okay, blonde ass. Are you never sure whether we're...
No, because
They're talking
sometimes
to us
we
or
go
not?
on tangents, so let's just be honest about that.
We haven't even started yet.
But today's episode, we'll be getting into...
Imbolc. Or Imbolc. Or Bride. Or Bridget's Day. Or Bridget's Night.
Or...
February's Eve. Candlemas. And Groundhog Day.
Or Lunar New Year.
If we were in China, yes. It'd be
But
the Lunar New Year.
This day translates into many different, things. For many different people. So you can't just... It started off, yes, as a Celtic and Druid.
But we're talking about Imbolc today.
Yes, but that's also, you gotta remember, it's also different for every... Imbolc is different for many different practices.
It is the Celtic celebration of spring and rebirth, halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually comes from Old Irish of Imbolg, meaning in the belly, which it was lambing season.
Yes.
In a lot of cultures within the Celtic realm, it is pretty much honoring Bridget with the candles and the bread and the homemade crafts and the herbal teas.
Mm-hmm. And you had to make sure you had to, braid your cross.
Talking about the Bridget's cross?
Yes.
Which is
Either made
I haven't
from
figured
reed.
that one out yet.
Huh?
I haven't figured that one out yet.
Or what it's made of.
I know what it's made of.
But
Made
how
of-
to make it.
Like how they actually make it without breaking the
Simple.
stalks.
It's just light folds. You end up
You
starting
could
with...
still break the
No, you don't break it. You just lightly weave it where it doesn't break. And then you apply pressure towards the end after you have them secured at the four ends.
Well, if we're going to talk about the Bridget's cross, we might as well talk about them corn dollies.
Yes, most people think it's just a harvest festival thing. But it's not.
It's not a harvest festival. You don't harvest it in bulk.
No,
It's where
I'm talking about the
seeds...
corn dollies. Most people think that corn dollies are only at the time of the harvest festival.
True.
But it's not necessarily just that. They don't use just corn dollies in that time of year. You can do them for Imbolc and representing the nudity and of bringing in good faith and good, crops this year.
Well, in the harvest time, the corn dolly was actually a place for the spirit of the crops to reside over the winter months.
Mm-hmm. But in making a corn dolly for this, it lets the spirit end up giving that farmer that makes the corn dolly, or the household that makes the corn dolly, a blessing left within that dolly.
Now, some magical intentions for this time of Imbolc.
Okay.
It's good for abundance, animals, blessings, cleansings, creativity, death of the old, dedication, divination, fire, growth, healing, inspiration, intuition, letting go, manifesting, new beginnings, personal develop, psychic work, purification, rebirth, self-care, soul searching, spring cleaning, and transitions.
Mm-hmm.
And some foods that are very common with this festival are dried fruits, grains, potatoes,
Leeks.
cornmeal, dried salted meats, cheese, pickled canned foods, nuts, eggs, and squash. And yes, leeks are one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which also includes like onions, shallots, and garlic. And stored vegetables like potatoes, onions, squashes, wine, and mulled wine. Now the drinks.
All the dairy products.
Yes, all dairy products. That actually ties into the milk moon.
Yes, the nursing moon, as some other people may call it.
Others are ale, mead, cider.
This is why you always
mulled
end up,
cider.
Making your own cider. Num num.
Some nice activities you can do are pretty much handmade items like the corn dollies and the Bridget's cross and candle making.
Creating poetry and reading amongst your friends.
You can dedicate your new magical tools. You can giving blessings of the animals and blessings of new projects.
And a lot of crazy ways. This is a time where most Catholic churches, this is odd, yes, but most Catholic churches will end up celebrating Imbolc with a pet's blessing where you bring your animals to church and you get their blessings.
It's not necessarily Imbolc that is with the Catholic Church. It's actually Candlemas.
You reminded me of that because they have also a whole entire mass to bring your pets.
Yes, they do. That's actually part of where that comes from. Is some of the where I did the research for these do include a lot of different cultures.
In like Hindi, you end up asking Ganesh to help you unblock the obstacles.
If I remembered which book it was, there's actually a blessing of Ganesh in there.
It's in that one.
Yeah, it's one of Llewellyn's Sabbat series that has all of them.
Yes, very dense books. If you want to get them, probably a really good buy. A really good investment into learning a little bit more on the Sabbats.
Now, common colors within
red, green.
You have light green, pink, white, yellow, dark blues and purples for winter night, white for winter snow, golden yellow for glimmers of sun. A big portion of this festival is trying to coerce the sun into coming back from the dead.
Yes. Another thing that they
people
have
were
during
sick
the
of winter.
Another thing they have during the thing is building a bonfire.
It is a fire festival.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing back the light.
Hence, we also end up getting the urge of spring cleaning and redoing protection sigils on your home to wash or clean away all the negativity out of your house.
Now, some herbs that are tied in with this festival. You have angelica, basil, blackberry/bramble, cinnamon, grains, reed, and wormwood.
Another thing that they did was getting ready to plan their garden. What vegetables,
Propagating of the seeds, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what this is all about, is bringing and trying to get the plants to grow. And the fertility of the lands.
And also a lot of baby making.
In ancient times, you know damn well that they'd be doing a lot of baby making for the last couple months.
Well, some
so
people
it's way before Yule.
Some people end up making it to where they end up, having a Lupercalia.
Now, do you know what festival is actually being celebrated in the southern hemisphere?
No.
Lunasaw.
Huh.
Which is between Midsummer and Mabon. In fact, I think the corn dolly of the crops was, I believe, part of Lu, which is where Lunasaw actually comes
Also,
from.
if you don't have the means to get the corn husks, make paper dollies.
Well, living in Southern California, there's never a shortage of corn husks.
And that's because we have a bunch of Mexicans who like to make tamales.
Especially this time of year.
Yes. Which, unconventionally, going into that, you know, whichever way you practice, this time of year, you have your own little set of traditions that still represent this time of year for Celtics. Like in Santeria, you end up renewing your contracts with your deities. You got Chinese, you know, red envelope time, giving blessings upon, you know, the people that you love. You have in Hindi where you ask Ganesh and renew your spirituality and bathe in the river.
A lot of cleansing.
Huh?
Cleansing, devotional work.
Like in
ancestral work.
You know, we were talking about earlier, before we started recording, in the Celtic Druid, you had a fasting of 72 hours before the beginning of the festival. And cleansing your body away from all the negativity. And then when the festival started, that is why you ended up eating. You got, you know, the nutrients in your belly.
Now some soaps and oils that you can use for this time of year, and some good scents. Well, with the scents, you have like cedar, peppermint, basil, and cinnamon. For soaps and oils, mind you, you do not want cinnamon in your soap, because you don't want cinnamon anywhere near your nether regions.
Unless you're into that, you know. We don't, you know, shame here.
That would give you a very flaming UTI.
Like I said, there's some, you know, people.
Good for soaps and oils is like chamomile, lemon balm, rosemary for cleansing, frankincense for purification, and lavender for relaxation. Now, some good trees that have ties to it are the blackthorn.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever seen a blackthorn branch, them thorns are big.
Yeah, you don't ever want to get gassed by your big mama going, go get me a switch. And that's the only kind of tree you have. Ooh.
Then you have cedar. You got rowan. Which I know rowan has ties into the fairies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not allowed to actually cut a branch off of the rowan tree. You will piss off the fairies and they will retaliate.
But if the branch falls naturally off and you pick it up,
you ask for permission.
Yeah, you ask for permission, but I have seen people just cut fucking a rowan tree. Oh.
Now, you also have like the sycamore.
Mm-hmm.
And other, because cedar being I believe it is technically a resin involved tree.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But you also have juniper and pine, or like dried leaves and cones. Some good crystals that you can work with would be amethyst and turquoise, bloodstone, obsidian, onyx, and salt, of course, for purification and circle casting. Some symbolic elements, you have baby animal statuary, candles, or a small brazier. And I'm not talking about the over-the-shoulder boulder holder.
Of course you're not.
It is a brass pan that you put little coals in.
Where you can put your dried incense in there, too.
They were also used as bed warmers.
Yes. But I'd rather have the kind of bed warmer that's, hunky and muscular and can hold me. Just saying.
That's nor here nor there. You have small pots of herbs or bulbs, snowflakes, leafless, deciduous trees, and a couple animals that have all to do with this festival. You have the cow, and obviously sheep, because lambing season and all.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Groundhog Day, which actually predates the American festival. It actually came with the Germans, but that's beside the point.
Is it good?
You have the lark and the robin, the snake and the swan. And did I mention dragons?
Rar.
No, some good ideas for magic. You have the grounding, using the soil, sand, crystals, or stones. If you want your spell to rise to the heavens, using fire, candles, flash paper, lights, incense. Incense would be air, but yeah. To change or transform, you use water.
Yes.
Now, if you want movement or transition, you have air, which using like ribbons, pinwheels, wind chimes.
That's where the fan dance
incense.
Came from, too.
We need to start making us some mead. Or some mulled cider. Or mulled wine. Not to be confused with mulled wine. We don't want rotten things. It is a warm and tasty drink that you mix with wine and some fruits and you heat it up. Now, for Imbolc, including small ritualized activities throughout the day makes a retreat more meaningful simply via intention. In other words, every part of your day should be special. Some ideas: awakening, gentle stretching and awareness of every part of the body, deep breathing, prayers of gratitude, meditation, yoga, sun salutations, self-blessing.
Affirmations
Would be in there too. Now your garb, putting on clean clothes and visualizing a protective cloak, wearing magical garb or jewelry. Cleansing, showering or bathing, purifying, washing away negativity with herbal soaps, bath bombs or oils. Bathing as ritual, immersion and cleansing, anointing with lotions. With meals, washing hands and face before dining as cleansing and preparation, table setting to add beauty, blessings or prayers of thanks before and after dining, use of simple, seasonal, sustainable local foods. Bedtime prep, washing the hands and face, gentle stretching and appreciation of your body, reflection on your day's experience, and prayer.
One thing also that you can do in preparation for this celebration is update your altar. Shake it up. And if you don't have one, think of starting one.
Well, cleansing, this is the time of spiritually cleansing. The spring equinox is the time for that deep cleaning and eliminating clutter, and because Imbolc isn't technically fully out of winter yet, so you can't really go outside too much.
But your altar's inside. Unless you have your altar outside, then I understand. But what it means, it's also a renewing your altar, giving your altar a new birth.
Well, if you think about it, with spiritually cleansing, what is one of the most common spirits to be coming around Yule? The Yule lads. You cleanse your space to get rid of the last of them and move them back to Gryla.
But sometimes they're adorable, I'm just saying. Even though they're mysterious as hell, they're still adorable little Yule lads. They just want to have fun. Or is it you like to tell me about Hades? He just wants to play. I have my own personal little Yule lad now.
Oh yeah. She now has a fur baby.
Yes. Didn't respond to any other name I was trying to give him. He just responded to Hades.
Yeah. Now we'll speak on the goddess in the air divination. Divination is often an art requiring us to interpret symbols. Possible futures aren't usually clearly revealed. Instead, we are given signs and symbols that need to be recognized and then interpreted. That is why those who perform divination for others often spend decades learning their craft. Sometimes, however, there are divination techniques that are essentially intuitive to humans. Some forms of divination take advantage of our inborn ability to make symbols more understandable. This is one approach to divination completely tied to personal interpretations and our deepest intuition. This divination is best performed on Imbolc as we look into the coming warm season. But it could be done on other days as well. It can be done indoors or out. If you decide to do it outdoors, you will use clouds as a divination tool. So you need favorable weather. Clear skies won't reveal much to you, nor will a sky completely filled with clouds. Any significant rain or snow will also make it essentially impossible to see any clouds upon open to interpretation. An alternative and more dependable option is to do this divination indoors using smoke from incense rather than clouds. Interpretation of clouds in the sky or indoors smoke streams are practically the same. The choice of indoors or out is up to you and the weather. Whatever version of this divination you decide to do, find paper and a pen or pencil. Doing this divination indoors, you will need a censer, incense burner. If using stick or cone incense, you may need 2 censers, 2 sticks or cones of incense or incense charcoal and loose incense or incense pellets, a white tea light, candle, and holder, a black altar cloth, a writing utensil, and paper or a journal. This divination requires you to be able to see signs and smoke, so it is easy to get carried away with and use more incense than needed. It is best done in a room with at least one window. Regardless of the weather, you should open the windows in the room at least a tiny bit. This exercise should only be performed in rooms with good ventilation anyway, and the smoke needs to have access to the outside air so that it its energies can escape the room and move into the universe. And because you need to be able to see the smoke, you will need to create a bit more of it than it is normally desired in the spell. If you're using a stick or cone incense, you will need 2 pieces of incense, separated by at least 4 inches to create proper smoke. Skip through some. Indoors or out, you will need to be comfortably seated or reclined. With that in mind, if you are working indoors, spread the black cloth on a table or other location that is easy to reach from your comfortable seat. Some people are fine sitting on the floor for this divination, but for most of us, a chair or table are the best approach, because after a while your butt starts hurting. when you're sitting on the floor. Also, make sure your writing instrument and paper are nearby. Place the censers in the center of the cloth and then place the candle holder 3 to 4 inches in front of the censer. If you're using 2 censers, ensure that they are 4 inches apart. You can put the candle between the 2 censers if you would like. Begin by offering an invocation as you light the candle. Goddess of the flame, I call upon you and ask that you help reveal to me the goddess in the smoke and illuminate the signs she sends to me, so that I will see them all. If you're using incense sticks or cones, light the incense from the candle and place it into the censers. Remember that the 2 pieces of incense should be about 4 inches apart. If you're using incense or charcoal, add several pinches of incense directly on top of the charcoal. Offer an invocation. I offer this incense to the goddess in the smoke, that she might reveal to me the things I need to know about what it is to be. If you're using clouds for your divination, it would be more appropriate to say something a little different. If you are performing the divination during the day, great God in the sky, as your light reflects from the clouds I see, I ask that you reveal to me the things that I need to know about what it is to be. Under ideal conditions, this divination can be performed outside at night as well. It would require a night with a full or nearby full moon, partly cloudy skies. The moon can shine intensely on clouds and illuminate them in ways they don't in daylight. In that case, change the invocation. Great Goddess, I come to you in your guise as the moon, daughter of the earth and sister to humankind. As your light reflects from the clouds I see, I ask that you reveal to me the things that I need to know about the future. Those are very interesting ways of divination, don't you think?
Yeah.
That was also very long.
It was. But you are that, though chaotic, very thorough chaotic.
Yeah. Now, if you want to make an Imbolc incense, you will need cedar wood powder. Cedar chips can be substituted if no powder is available, but they must be completely dry. Check at pet shops or feed stores if your local metaphysical shop is out of stock. Dried basil powder is best but not mandatory. Honey, use local honey if possible, and take care to avoid things labeled honey sauce or honey flavored, as those are mostly corn syrup. A ceramic or paper bowl. Craft stick, a stout coffee stirrer will also work. Plastic bag with zipper style closure. Small glass or plastic container with tight fitting lid. Disposable gloves, optional. You begin by chopping or grinding the cedar chips or basil leaves as finely as possible. Coffee grinder works. Mix 5 teaspoons chopped or powdered cedar wood with 1 teaspoon dried basil leaves in the bowl. Stir with the craft stick until the basil is equally distributed in the mixture. Add a few drops of honey to the mixture. Use just enough honey to stick everything together. Don't add any more than you have to. Mix with craft stick until the honey is evenly distributed. Complete the mixing with your hands if needed, wearing the disposable gloves, latex or otherwise. Otherwise, wash your hands immediately after finish mixing. Once you can gather the incense together in a single ball or glob, drop it into the plastic bag, close the bag and seal it inside the glass or plastic container. Allow the incense to age until Imbolc.
Well, that's a pre-thing because you have to make them into little crystals. That's why you have the honey to make them into little pellets.
It says on Imbolc you should open the sealed container and plastic bag Pinch off pea-sized balls of incense. If the mixture is still sticky, it takes a week or two for the stickiness to go away. Roll the balls in powdered cedarwood or basil to make them easier to handle. So, right about this week would be a good time. Another thing you can do is dip candle making. With that, I suggest going on YouTube and looking that up because that's a very lengthy explanation and I don't think we have a month.
Yeah. Even though most of the stuff is now easy accessible to get at, your craft stores like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, or even some things you can get at Walmart or Target.
Yeah.
But it is very lengthy, and it comes to the point where you have to learn temperature-wise, or else you're going to make it into a disaster when making candles. And it's very tedious work because it's slow dipping, or if you don't want to do the hand-dipped candles, you end up pouring it in, and a lot of people go just pouring it into little containers and then putting in what the candle is for. But a lot of people don't get into the craft of going and slow dipping the candle because it's so tedious and, well, it's an arm workout.
Well, how else do you expect to have bleeding candles?
True.
I've always wanted to make those. They look so cool.
I have a feeling that because I know how to make this, we're going to end up getting this stuff soon.
Well, we do have a book that actually gives out the explanation.
Yes, but I know from pure experience already how to make them.
Now, on to prayers of Imbolc. A prayer for healing the body.
Wow, why do I feel called out here?
It says, you can always ask for general health, but the energy will be more focused if your healing request is specific. Goddess Brigid, Maiden, Mother, and Crone, Protector of Life, I ask that you return health to me, name of other people, during this season of Imbolc. Please send your healing power to mend bone and flesh, ease breathing, and restore full life. Above all else, please ease the pain and discomfort until health is restored. Glorious Brigid, Goddess of Flame and of Well, in the light of the perfect love, bring a swift healing to those who are suffering. Now, you can always do a prayer for healing the mind, heart, and soul. Or soul.
I see.
You have Goddess Brigid, Keeper of the Flame, Tender of the Well. I come to you to ask for your healing of an injured soul. Please look into deepest places within the person's name and find the injuries that lie within the surface. I ask that you ease the pain within my/that soul. Just as this candle shines, I ask that you shine a light on a path towards healing. Shine a light so bright and clear that the path of healing is unmistakable. Please send whatever assistance will be needed to make this soul whole once again. Yes, I know we're crazy, but that was not a dig.
I didn't say a thing.
If I wanted to dig, I would dig deep.
Oh my Jesus, for me, crike.
It's like, I don't stab people in the back.
I
stab them in the front so I can stare at them. Look them in the eye and see the betrayal that I'm giving them. Now with the lunar calendar of 2024, you have the first quarter moon on Friday, February 2nd. The new moon on Friday, February 9th. 3/4 new moon. First quarter, Friday, February 16th. And the full moon on Friday, or Saturday, February 24th.
Alright, and earlier we were talking about the Bridget's Cross, and this is what you'll need to make one, if you want to make one for your celebration. You need 16 reeds or straws. You need 4 small rubber bands and scissors. Hold one of the reeds vertically. Fold a second one in half. Place the first vertical reed in the center of the folded second reed. Hold the center overlap tightly between your thumb and forefinger, and then hold it at a 90-degree angle and open the ends of the second reed pointing vertically upward. The third reed in half and over both parts of the second reed. Holding secure, tightly turn 3 reeds at 90 degrees anti-clockwise so that it opens up to the third reed pointing upwards. Fold a new reed in half across and put it in between that reed. Repeat this process, rotating the rushes 90 degrees anti-clockwise, adding a new folded reed each time until all rushes have been used up to make the cross. Secure at the arms of the ends of each one with the small rubber bands and cut off the excess. And you make your Bridget's Cross.
That sounds very confusing.
How?
That just sounded like a lot. But if it was easy, it would not be worth it.
Not true. It also states that as you're making this cross, you end up putting in your manifestations with each reed you add on. What you're trying to get rid of or what you're trying to bring into your life.
Sounds about right.
This is also, a lot of people use palms too.
Palm fronds?
Palm fronds to make it.
Which, that makes sense. I know you have like natural reeds. You have wheat.
Mm-hmm. The reason why they said sometimes you could end up using straws because you could get the little ones involved in this. And straws are a lot more easy to bend than the palm fronds or the reeds or even the wheat.
Or other grains. I think this episode has been very informative.
I do too.
And we've
lengthy, but informative.
It's not too lengthy.
On some of the information, yes, it was lengthy.
Okay. But we got the information.
Yes, we did.
To the masses.
To the masses. I was going to say something else, but I behaved.
Now, this has been Random Witchcraft with our crazy asses.
Yes.
Talk to you very soon.
Au revoir, lovelies.
Bye. Just one more thing before we sign off for the day. If you would like to send us any comments, concerns, or any questions, or if you would like to support this podcast, or for any future endeavors, click the links below. Thank you.